the amount of time you spend at your workplace and the amount of time you spend in all other activities. Unfortunately, most often we get so engrossed with our routine work that had been assigned to us at our workplace that we keep forgetting that we have another world waiting for us. The problem is we are not focusing enough on the management of the time available in between. We are not strategically planning it or maybe shelving it in smooth way wherein we can address them when and where needed. Each of us know nowadays that relationship conflicts are at spike because we say that spouses are not giving enough time to each other. Do they have enough time to give each other? And when they have that time, do they spend quality time with each other? These are the questions that keeps on bothering those partners when they go back home after a hectic day. They keep on thinking, what roles can I perform that will make a difference in my life? And ironically, they don't think of any other role while traveling back to home. They keep on thinking what next, what else can they do to attain that next level in career. We tend to forget that all of us are individual. Whenever there are multiple roles to be played and the expectancy of work performance is very high, like you have to work very hard to prove yourself efficient or effective, then your work-life balance in some way or other gets disturbed. Dissatisfaction causes imbalance in life. It's not the work, it's not your workplace, it's not the working hour, it's not about how many roles you play parallelly. It's like how much do you feel from inside up to that role. So that dissatisfaction or that foundation of sitting at one place when you are required at some other place, maybe you're required at both the place equally, but you are not satisfied. You cannot let go of this work because this is equally important. You cannot let go of that opportunity because that will fetch you more satisfaction. So after a full day of slogging, you are not praised. Your efforts are not acknowledged. You are not rewarded and you remain dissatisfied. The minute this dissatisfaction creeps in, this work-life balance goes for a toss. Work-life balance is all about emotion. And emotions are never switch on, switch off concept. At individual level, you are aspiring to attain certain goals. Organizational level, organization has certain goals and objectives to be achieved. Work-life balance is a perceived threat. It's a perception. If you're not able to manage your time, if you're not able to strategically take care of all the tasks and responsibility you have taken over, work-life balance will always remain a question mark. But at the same time, are you overloaded? Are you taking more responsibilities than you can cater to? That is something that has to be pondered upon. If it is my decision to spend 2 more hours in the organization, have I made arrangement for someone to take care of my family? Have you made some arrangement at home? People generally forget about physical well-being, emotional peace, mental clarity, spiritual life. An individual has to figure out what makes him happy. What is that very segment of life to which he is not paying any attention, or maybe not getting time to pay any attention to. You have to figure out what is that you want to do. You should first develop that control over your emotions, because this barricading is not about physical. When we draw a physical line, we can always remind ourselves that we need to stay inside this line. But when it is emotional or behavioral aspect of the personality, you have to develop that control. It's cognitive. So boundary theory says you create a space. Whenever there is a need, switch on the other segment, fulfill that duty as well, switch back, focus on your work. Whenever you create this conflict within yourself, like, should I be attending more to the office tasks, or should I be available more at my family front? there will be a conflict. And as I said earlier, as dissatisfaction creeps in, work-life balance goes for a toss. Same is applicable here. The minute you start creating those conflicts within yourself, your work-life balance will go for a toss. So try to minimize the conflict, and that is why I keep on insisting that people should have good time management. They should strategically plan their day. If everything that you are supposed to do is placed somewhere in that chalked out timetable, then work-life balance will not be very difficult to attain. The moment you are reaching high in life, roles and responsibilities grow, authority grows, so responsibility also grows. You are answerable, you are accountable to many more people sitting there. Probably you are on vacation, but then you should make such arrangement wherein in your absence the work should not suffer. Same is the case with family. When you are busy attending official tasks at your workplace, make sure that your family should not suffer behind because of your absence. If we are not doing good in office, we try to do good at home. If we are not doing good at our home front, we try to do good in office. In the family, we had a happy moment. That happiness is carried over to workplace. If there is something good that has happened at the workplace, that happiness gets carried over to the family when we reach home. Same is applicable in the vice versa situation, and that is why organizations these days try to make the workplace happier. They keep their employees engaged so that they carry happiness with them when they reach home. There is a lot of stress, so I encounter few cases wherein the family members are also very supportive and they say, okay, fine, we will have one weekend and rest of the day you can work. So if there is an understanding, there is no conflict, work-life balance is intact. To work for the organization is fine, that is why you have joined the organization, right? But then choose a place wherein people support you in your emotional need. Sometimes it's like no support available from at the workplace, the family member supports. Other times family member are complaining, the organization supports, and the individual is able to achieve something. The best combination is when the organization needs you, family members should support. When family needs you, organization should allow you. This is very healthy bond between the organization and the family that keeps an individual mentally healthy and well. Employee assistance programs should be run in all the organizations from time to time so that employees could be guided about what all help an organization can offer them, and also the organization gets an opportunity to know and learn about their employees' need wherein they can be helped. It's not enough that what you want to do, it's also about when you want to do it. It's also about with whom you want to do it. It's also about how you're going to do it. You have to work, earn money, and reward yourself with the activity that makes you happy. So most often we say, I wish, then only if I could do it, I would have done it. Maybe I should do it. That should is very dutifulness, but you're not enjoying it. Whenever you are confronted with such situation wherein you are in dilemma, like should I go back home, I have to, I need to, I should, please take pause, reflect for 2 seconds, refine your statement, and then repeat the statement with I want to. How do you assess that if you have attained perfect work-life balance in your life, or as an organization, how do we assess that employee is not bothered about this work-life balance going imbalanced? One is how much time the worker is able to save on the work. So training programs should be held regularly so that employees can structure their work more systematically and it takes lesser time. The organization should adopt technology so that work is made faster and time is saved. So how much time a person saves in commuting? So if you're in some organization which is far away from your residence, shift your residence, spend less time on road, save your time, spend with your family members, have more fun. Durability, how long the employee stays with you. If the turnover rate is very high in an organization, then there are two chances. Like, one is the work environment is stressful, and the other could be the employee was not capable enough, was not meeting the need of the organization. So if the second one is true, organize training programs, make that fellow eligible enough so that he can spend more time with the organization, and longevity do pay. And if the first one is the case, like if the work environment is stressful, then conduct more workshops, more development programs, and try to get rid of this stressful element. Productivity should go high. If your organization claims that the employee's work-life balance is intact, then individual productivity would go high. There would be a consistency in your behavior. In organizational growth also, there will be a consistency in individual growth also. So from time to time, you should take assessment of how the employee was performing maybe 6 months back and now, and then again 6 months later. Consistency helps in mastering the skill, and that saves time. Health wise, how do you keep check on employee's health? Like how many times he has taken leave on or sick leave or on medical ground. More than that, find out how many times the person has visited a doctor or a medical practitioner. If somebody's health is constantly going low, or maybe somebody who is suffering illness on and off, should be matter of concern, because ailment like blood pressure, high blood sugar, these are certain ailments, eating behavior, these are ailments caused by stress. Organize some sessions with psychotherapists or psychologists to reduce this stress. Conduct more training programs for the managers at upper level, so that superior, like supervisor and subordinate conflict, should be reduced. If it is reduced, mental health generally is good. So positive health helps in positive perception. We perceive that we are being used or exploited. Do not carry this conflict with you every day to home, because then if you are unhappy at your workplace, you carry unhappiness to home. There you create conflict again because you are unhappy, and then you carry that conflict to workplace next morning because you were unhappy at home. So figure out your life, make a good plan, work for yourself, work on yourself, and remember to ask yourself, what do you want to do? The sentence should always come up with this, I want to be. The willingness is more important in any task, in any scenario, for happiness. I'm Dr. Tapti Roy Yadav. This is my email ID, tapti.yadav@ipsacademy.org. If you want to contact me, you can write over to this ID. I'm there to help you. Thank you.